You may have seen another video that I've done a long time ago. It's called Dad's Estate. If you haven't seen it, it's going to be a hard one to get. But today I'm going to make Dad's pot! Today I'm going to be making something that everyone's asked me to step-by-step show how it's done. It's my sauce. You may have seen my other tape called Dad's Estate. Very good, very difficult to get a hold of. Forget about that. What we're going to do today is I'm going to go through step-by-step of my sauce. Dad's sauce. Dad's Estate, Dad's sauce. So here we go. What we're going to do is start out with my favorite pot that I've used for a long time. I'm going to preheat it, and then these are some of the ingredients, and then I'm going to use green peppers, garlic of course, fennel, and onion. So what we're going to do is start out with the basic of heating the pan or pot and a little bit of Italian virgin olive oil. So why don't we do this? Take this, cut this like this. My knives are not really sharp. I cut myself a lot. But that's part of the whole deal. So what we're going to do is do this, cut this back like this. All right, and open this up. You know, if I were to do another one of these videos, I would probably do a lot of pre-prepping, but this was kind of a last minute thing, and we got to make sure this is all warmed up. It does take a little bit of while because this is a huge pot, and it's one of my favorite pots. All right, so as we go, while that's warming up, and I'm going to slice this down a little bit and cut that off. You know, everything that I do as far as cooking, I have no direction other than what I feel is going to work. It doesn't always work either. But anyways, as you can see, I'm just chopping these up kind of big, and just let that kind of air out for a minute. I've got 3 huge pieces of garlic here, and while I'm doing that, and that's warming up, here's what I use for the sauce, okay? I'm going to use 1 nice can of paste, not sauce, but paste, and a nice big jar of San Marzano tomatoes, and I recommend that type of paste. Some people like the other ones, but this is what my mother's used for years, and that's what I'm going to do. Okay? All right, so this is warming up. It's getting there. Make sure we got a lot of things going in there. And cut it up, chop it up. You can leave it loose and big. And you can see I don't have a professional way of doing it. I know that I almost stabbed myself right there, but I did, and I got lucky. All right, so we do this. Again, I want to try to keep the thing going, and that's good for that. When this gets really nice and warm, you know, the gas stove is a lot better than the electric stove. Everybody kind of knows that, but that's what I got to work with. So I'm going to clean these. You know, I like to try to get them so the peppers. I know a lot of people say, well, why peppers? I like the taste of the peppers in the sauce, okay? And that's what I try to go for. Not always successful, but I keep trying. All right. A lot of guys like to use, and girls like to use aprons. Why? I mean, I've got a shirt here that's got a huge tail. Why wouldn't you just, you know, do that and thread it and drag up, an apron around? So here I go. You hear that? Yup. It's got that sizzling going on. This is where you really have to kind of concentrate, and it's hard to do that with, hey, you're looking at this and you say, geez, gosh, kind of loose in there with, parts of the, crushing the garlic, and going on this, going on that. Christmas today. Christmas where you are too. Then do this. Crunch it down like that. You know, a couple of nice big pieces of garlic. And what I'm going to do is let that go. Peel that up. Okay, you can see I'm somewhat in a little bit of a hurry because I got this going on. I usually put the fan on, and I'm going to add a little bit more. I got a call from my director saying I got to turn the fan off, so I got to remove that. So you can hear that steaming, and I'm going to add a little bit more of olive oil, extra virgin. Everybody uses that. Why? I don't know, I guess it's better. So we're going to do that. And when you're looking at this, the onions are kind of getting real nice and brown. I don't usually let it go too much. And I don't put the garlic in until kind of a last minute thing. And the next thing I'm going to do is make sure this is chopped up. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm using Italian sausage. I generally use the sausage that's linked, but I couldn't find any because of the Christmas season and the fact that everybody wants to make an Italian dish instead of turkey. So that's why I'm dealing with this. Now the rest of the family, chop this up. Pick it up a little bit. I'm going to put 2 pounds of this in here. I would normally leave the paper on, but I'm taking it out this time. Anyways, if you really want to get into it, you could actually go in here with your hands and chop it up. I mean, it's a little bit of a risk, but I've never done it that way. I'm just trying to get it all beat up. Can somebody shoot the dog? Gosh. Anyways, we've got this going on. Maybe a little touch of olive oil. I don't want it crazy because remember the sausage has already got a lot of oil in it. And this is it. There you are. This is it. I always use fennel, a lot of fennel. Well, that's going. starting to break up really nice. All right, I'm back here. We had a little bit of a break, and again, this is starting to break down, and I am turning up the heat right now, but just keep in mind that you do have to watch it. Fennel, how much? I don't know. I always go with a splash, I guess. Fennel makes it taste really good. If you don't like fennel, then you're not going to be using it, okay? So you can increase it with other things like onions, and you can hear this sizzling like crazy. So, and you probably noticed that I haven't even done any salt and pepper yet. I just want to wait until some of the water is done. And hands are clean. Just a little bit of kosher salt in there. Right now, throw this in. Pretty loose, I know. Nothing is exact. Kind of infuse this. But see what happens is when you get this basic foundation down, let it settle, and then when you go to put the sauce in that you make from scratch, from paste, in a can of tomatoes, then you start to smell everything as far as the green peppers are concerned, and you can see how all that beautiful juice is taking shape. I got a lot of the ideas from my mother, who came from Naples, Napoli, from the boat, married an American soldier, in World War II, came to this country, not knowing a word of English, and she took all her cooking ideas that she got from her mom, and slowly started putting together all these dishes that she was used to. My dad was from the working class. He was 1 out of 12 in the family, and all they ever had was meat and potatoes. So my mother had to adjust it a little bit, but obviously the best thing that she did was the Italian cooking. Anyways, and I picked up what I could from the side. I walk in the kitchen, and I said, what are you doing? She goes, this is what I'm doing. We didn't have a lot of money. We just kind of put together what we could. I'm going to roll this up. You can hear that sizzling. And I'll wash my hands real quick. Take the towels. And before that gets really, really hot, crush these with my hands. Alright. If you get near the meat, obviously you're going to have to pull away because it's hot. Alright, so that's that. And I'm going to put a little bit of... I'd love to taste this stuff. Alright, there you go. I'm not promoting anything, but whatever. Alright, so that's that. You can hear it. Hear it? There you go. All that. Crush that down. Crush that down. Crush that down. Crush that down. I'm going to put a little bit more salt in there. And you know, when you hear that bubbling like that, to me it's kind of scary. So, and what's happening is we're getting all the residual from the sausage on the bottom of the pan to come up. Deglazing, I think is the technical term. So that's that. Is that she used 3 cans of water to each can of paste that you use. You know, in paste, a lot of people like to stay away from that because it's so heavily concentrated, and it can be real bittery because you gotta just cook it down quite a bit before you can, you know, it becomes a nice sauce. So turn this down right about 2. And the other thing that I like to do is have a spoon here. Scoop it out. This is what my mom would do, although there's other ways to do it. Like you could put this base sauce in a bowl, then you could water it down to the 3 cans. Remember, the more water you put in there, you know, the lighter the sauce, and it's gonna boil down. And as it starts to boil down, that's when you can start adding different elements to it. So here I'm going to wrap it around. This is the way my mother did it, turning until it's concentrated sauce. I'm going to turn this up a little bit, and it was the oh, and by the way, I filled this up. This is can number 1. Okay, and the other thing that I think is really important that a lot of people overlook, we have no control over, and that's the water. Why does the water in certain areas have different characteristics? Who knows? I don't know. But all I know is the spaghetti sauce from, that's 2 cans, by the way, and I'm going to go in for 3. And it's cold water. You know, I've used bottled water a couple times. I've used refrigerated water, and I always go back to tap water. And I think that may be the answer to the way it tastes. You know, I'm never, ever 100% happy with my sauce, no matter how I do it, no matter the amount of time that I put onto it. But you know, I don't know. I'm just a hard person to please as far as my food taste is concerned. All the ingredients are in there right now, and I'm gonna let this settle for at least another hour, and we'll come back. At that point, what I'm looking for is what I call the black line. And the black line is once this cooks down, it starts to get thick and nice, and you get a good smell feeling over it. About it. And you have to be very careful that you don't overboil this. It's just totally crazy. But the secret, and I've showed my kids and anybody that I've ever done this for, the black line is what you're looking for. When it rises up, the oils start to come up from the sausage or from the meatballs or however you're using, and it's a black line ridge, and that's what you do. Once you get that, then you taper off, lower it down, and let it settle for a while. So right now I'm going to let it cook. The only other ingredients that I'm going to add to it at a certain point and towards the end, basil, and I am going to add maybe another green pepper. Those big words that I get confused on, pepper, salt. So I'm going to let that settle. And the other thing is too, I might add another half a can of water if I don't like the way it looks. And just remember, if you add meat or you have meat in there, it's going to have a different characteristics other than just a regular sauce without anything on it. So, all right, see you in a while. This is George back here again in George's Sauce. Just wanted to show you the importance of how this is layered out. It's starting to create the black line. Very important, very important. And on the takeaway, before we went to this shot, I did add a little bit more spice to it. But other than that, okay. Important, when you hear that bubbling like that, you must turn it down. I'll see you in about an hour. Hey kids, obviously you've seen this production before, Low End Productions.
No, okay.
Howdy Productions, Larry Productions, we're all part of the same production. As I mentioned when I first started this, Dad's Estate, classic, not a lot of people have seen it, not a lot of people are gonna see it. It's no different than Dad's Sauce, which I am into hour 4 of, and I'm gonna swing around here to show you what we're going to do to wrap this up, and then we'll all sit down for a wonderful dinner. And if I can have one of my top camera persons go down and see what we've got. Now, obviously you can't smell it, and you know that's to be expected. Sorry about that. Pardon me, just for a second. Very thirsty. What I'm going to do is, this is live basil, and I'm just taking strips off it just to put in here. You know, I wish you could really smell it because it does have a beautiful aroma. And again, I'm going to be very, very honest with everyone that has known me and has tasted my food. I'm generally not 100% satisfied with anything I make. Hey folks, it's been a long day. Finally arrived here, and what we've got is the finished product, the Bolognese sauce with Grandma's recipe, wonderful meatballs. So what I'm going to do is just do the finishing touches. I'm talking right now, all right? So we just do this. Look at this. This is our wonderful granddaughter, Penelope, and we're going to put the cheese on it. Can you say cheese? There we go, just like that. And we are ready to enjoy the wonderful meatballs, wonderful family, friends. And I'm going to say cheers to everyone and have a happy, wonderful weekend.